A clue to whom? Charlotte took a deep breath, her eyes fixed on a point just over Detective Carter's shoulder. When she spoke, her voice was low and strained. My father, he had a severe gambling problem. For years, he was in and out of our lives. He disappeared for months, then showed up full of promises and apologies. My mother always took him back, hoping he would change. She paused, her fingers twisting the fabric of her dress. The last time I saw him was about 7 years ago. He had been gone for nearly a year, and then one morning I picked up the newspaper and... Charlotte closed her eyes for a moment, composing herself. The headline, it said he had been arrested. He was accused of poisoning a racehorse. Not just any horse. It was Midnight Thunder, one of the greatest racehorses of the decade. Detective Carter's eyes widened in recognition. The Midnight Thunder case, he said, leaning forward. I remember that. It was all over the news. The horse was favored to win the Grand National, but it fell ill just days before the race. He studied Charlotte's face intently. That's why your face looks so familiar, Mrs. Clodsworth. Wyatt Dawson. He was convicted, wasn't he? And you came to visit him. Only once, she said with tears welling up in her eyes. I just had to tell him how angry and disappointed I was in him. I didn't even say goodbye. I must have been followed there. Journalists were outside the jail, waiting to ambush me. Thankfully, a few officers walked me to my car. Carter spoke up. I was heading in that day as you were heading out. At that moment, I wasn't sure what all the commotion was about. I'm sorry you had to endure all that, madam. Charlotte nodded, a single tear sliding down her cheek. Oh, I see. Thank you for your kind words. She took a deep breath. Yes, well, I haven't spoken to my father face to face since a few days after the arrest. I was so relieved to get married, mostly because I loved Michael, but also because I had a chance to change my name. I couldn't bear the whispers, the stares. I told Doug everything before me and Michael got married, and Michael knows as well, of course. But we don't discuss it. The rest of the family only knows my father is not in my life. Carter's expression softened slightly. I appreciate you sharing this, Miss Clodsworth. I understand how difficult it must be. Can you think of any reason why your father's past might have relevance to the thefts here at Clodsworth Manor? Charlotte looked up, a mix of fear and confusion in her eyes. I don't see how it could be. My father's locked away, but I can't say that I don't have a tinge of worry. Well, I've started writing to my father just a few months ago. He's never said anything that would imply he would do anything against Doug or me. He seems remorseful. Detective Carter took the letter from Charlotte, his eyebrows raising slightly in surprise. He unfolded it carefully and scanned its contents, his expression softening as he read. After a moment, he looked up at Charlotte, his tone more gentle than before. I'm glad you're communicating with your father, Mrs. Clodsworth. He made a terrible decision, no doubt about that. But from what I remember of the case, he never came off as a hardened criminal to me. He returned the letter to Charlotte, her fingers quivering as she accepted it. Thank you. Thank you for being so candid. I realize this level of openness isn't easy. It shows a lot of your courage and sincerity, Carter said. To me, it sounds like he's serious about making amends. As you mentioned, he truly does sound remorseful. Charlotte nodded, a mix of relief and lingering anxiety on her face. It's been difficult. I ignored his letters for years, but recently, I don't know. I suppose I wanted to understand why he did what he did. Carter leaned forward, his voice low and empathetic. Family relationships are complex, Mrs. Clodsworth. Forgiveness is a personal journey. Now, regarding the current situation, is there anything else you can think of that could shed some light on the events of this weekend? Charlotte shook her head. Okay. Charlotte shook her head. No, Detective. I've only received a few letters, and they're all about his regrets and hopes for reconciliation. There's nothing in them about the Clodsworth or anything related to these thefts. I realize Michael probably mentioned I was in here last night, but I was only reading the latest letter from my father. I prefer reading them in private. The detective nodded, making a quick note. I see. Well, thank you for your honesty. Is there anything else you think might be relevant to our investigation? Anything at all? No matter how small it might seem. Not meaning to, her eyes widened briefly with regret as she recalled her outburst against Robert. In her heart, she knew she had gone too far and had no real desire to hurt her brother-in-law or his family. While she would defend him if the details of the exchange came up naturally, for now she decided it was best to keep that heated moment of frustration entirely to herself. She shook her head gently. I can't think of anything at the moment. The detective scribbled down one more note and then asked Charlotte to call Sarah into the room.